All right, good. Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. Morning. How you doing? It's the Hat and Beard Show. Hopefully you guys are having a great start to your morning. We are fumbling and bumbling right out of the gate here, boys. You know what? We've decided that we are going to try a couple of things a little bit differently than we have been. I do like to kind of poke around and lead off with some NFL, type stories, and I happen to just kind of come across Pro Football Talk's rumor mill here. So there's a few things that we're going to poke around here to lead the morning off with. Just kind of perusing some headlines, some goofy little stories here or there, of course. You can see the poll listed there. It will have to do with Eeffrey Jepstein here and Aaron Rodgers. Some news breaking around that. We'll also kind of look at some stuff coming out of Atlanta. And then we will poke around here at the one that really kind of drew my attention was the Dolphins had an interest in Asante Samuel Jr., but his dad says they have no leadership. He also called him soft. So, in the age of the social media superstar, I guess it were, everyone wants to have a little slice of the pie. And even though Asante Samuel was once a perennial All-Pro, lights out, top of his game, defensive back, he's now making the rounds on podcast as Asante Samuel Sr. Oh, boom! What happened here? Did we lose ya? Are we back? What's going on here? I'm just waiting to see if the live stream picks up here, fellas. Something went down with OBS, and I don't know what it was, so we're just holding tight. All right, we're back. We're back. We look like we're back. Sorry about that. OBS decided to be a just kind of a device that one would insert into lower half orifices on the human body. And I don't like it when we start our mornings off with that. But maybe it's an omen. Maybe this whole little rumor mill thing's not going to work out. We'll poke around at that. And that's what really caught my eye was the Asante Samuel Jr. thing, and his dad being nothing short of a butthead. Then we will kind of look a little bit closer into that as well. I forgot I had that story pulled up there. And then to finish off our NFL segment and tying it to the Detroit Lions, we will take a look at Turpin. That's right, the Dallas Cowboys special teams superstar. Turpin arrest differs from Lions' Jameson Williams in a way that increases likelihood of a suspension for the Cowboys wide receiver. There's a little bit of similarities here, both at the around the same time in the offseason. And boy, these wide receivers come out and they like to be divas. And they tend to get in trouble in the offseason. And if you can't keep your nose clean, it's not called not for long for no reason. But Turpin, a little bit different than Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams, and I was pretty critical about Jameson Williams last season when he got pulled over, had a firearm in the car. He was very open about that. He admitted to the cop, told him exactly what was going on. He didn't try and conceal it or hide it, I should say, because it was concealed technically under the seat. But there is a little bit of differences here, and the Cowboys just not having such a great offseason. But that's it's not a negative in my book because I'm not a big fan of the Cowboys. Never have been. Probably never will be. But and then we will wrap it up with a little bit of a hometown feel-good story here. Aidan Hutchinson reveals lessons learned from Lions leadership. Hutch has made significant strides since his rookie season. So we'll take a look at that. It's coming from, Vito Chichiro, 52 minutes ago. Not someone we read very regularly, but we are in the middle of the offseason here. Well, the tail end of the offseason, really. And we are looking for stories, trying to fill out an hour of episode for you. This is still the filler arc in between NFL seasons before we get ready for the 2025 NFL season. I'm really hype about that. And if time allows today, if not tomorrow, I'll make time for it. I want to talk about this movie that I watched over the weekend. It was wild, and I couldn't recommend it enough. We'll talk about that today or tomorrow. But getting back to the task at hand, guys, we do have a poll up in the chat right now that is, so, no list, huh? Now, I'm not going to really talk too much about it. This is kind of a, if you know, you know, which is one of the answers. Running away with it, 50% of the vote. If you know, you know, deep state. Another answer is what? Meaning, and that's fine. Dude, if you want to click what, that's totally okay. I totally understand. One of the answers is yes, there is no list. I believe the machine. And then the second answer with 25% of the vote, no. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. No, the swamp got to old Cash and Dan, so go ahead and make your voice known in the poll. Oh. Sorry, fellas, my allergies decided to go absolutely bananas right then. Oh, maybe that's an omen. Maybe it's those weirdos sitting in the van down over there. They've been here for about 3 or 4 months. They like to follow me to work. They think I don't know. Maybe they're doing something to me. Maybe I'm the next Candace Owens. Just kidding. All right, guys. So if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel if you like what we do. Ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. We are the largest, fastest-growing Detroit Lions NFL content creation station, broadcasting exclusively in the 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. block, streaming from Grandma's Studio One. Assault that like button, hit it with the 2-piece and the biscuit if you enjoy the content. And then the number one thing you can do to help us grow, we are steamrolling towards 700 subscribers. And guys, it's all grassroots. It's all y'all. It's all the working of y'all. It's not me. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I don't. I try and reach out on other social media sites, like try and expand the brand. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man. I'm just out here itching my nose, trying not to be too gross into the microphone, guys. And yeah. So this week's we want to get to. I just need training camp to start, guys. I'm getting like the football equivalent of cabin fever. There's been no UFL. I don't like baseball. I guess there's golf, but I need football back, boys. So for Christ's sake, can I just get into the show?
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I also want to say good morning to everybody in the chat. Y'all are being rather pleasant on this Tuesday morning. I appreciate that. So over here at Pro Football Talk, NBCSports.com, rumor mill, Kirk Cousins felt a little bit misled when the Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr. after the Falcons shocked the football following world by making quarterback Michael Penix Jr. the 8th overall pick in the 2024 draft. Cousins was asked by reporters whether he might have made a different decision in free agency if he had known about the plan to take the quarterback. I don't really deal in hypotheticals, Cousins said at the time. Personally, I think it comes down to who is ever going to give him the most guaranteed money. I think Kirk Cousins knew the reality of the situation, and that is he needed to secure a final contract bag, get as much as you possibly could, because I think, Kirk Cousins was at one point at Michigan State University a pre-med student. I think he understands maybe to a little bit more of detail than some other guys. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying that he might understand the importance of the Achilles and how it affects the mechanics of the throwing motion. Kirk Cousins was a heavy plant on his throwing foot type guy, and with that Achilles rupture, going to have a hard time just kind of forcing the ball over the top, just having to use all that shoulder mechanic. And the shoulder's not designed to actually do this over the shoulder motion throw. It's not designed for this motion. That's why softball pitching underhand is actually the proper mechanic for the shoulder. That's why humans developed technology to force multiply the projectile weaponry that we have now to reduce the amount of torque on the shoulder, the destruction of the shoulder, as well as continue to multiply the force, if you know what I'm saying. After explaining that he had picked Atlanta over Minnesota in free agency because the Vikings wanted to go year to year and the Falcons made a longer commitment, Cousins said he was, quote, pretty surprised by the news that Penix had been drafted in the top 10. I wasn't expecting us to take a quarterback. At the time, it felt like I'd been a little misled, or certainly if I had the information around free agency, it certainly would have affected my decision. I had no reason to leave Minnesota with how much we loved it there, if both teams are going to be drafting a quarterback high. Beyond loving Minnesota, Cousins was comfortable in Kevin O'Connell's offense. It became clear during the first episode of Quarterback that Cousins felt a little overwhelmed by the offense in Atlanta. Also, this season of Quarterback on Netflix, I'm not watching it. I don't have a Netflix subscription. Free market reasons. But it's focusing on Jared Goff quite a bit, from what I understand, which will be kind of cool. Hopefully, all things coming up Jared Goff, right? He announced that he's expecting a child, and he's getting a lot of spotlight now. A little bit more national media love than in years past, short of when he was heading to the Super Bowl with the LA Rams, and then he was dejected and kicked over here to Detroit and left for dead. He was a bridge quarterback, supposed to be a journeyman guy, not supposed to be the franchise dude, and here we are. But let's get back to Kirk Cousins. It felt different enough to feel like I'm starting over, Cousins said regarding the Falcons' offense. One challenge came from the pre-snap motions and shift, similar to what the Dolphins have been doing. Quote, "That was a lot to learn," Cousins said. It came to a head in week 1 when a game-time deciding fumble happened because of a miscommunication that resulted in a shotgun snap striking tight end Ross Dwelly while he was going in motion past the center. "I knew that was going to happen," Cousins said after he came out the field. I have to give the foot, then send you," Cousins told Dwelly on the sidelines. "I sent you and then gave the foot. And if I do that, we have no room for error. It's a fumble every time. It was just all week long, I was paranoid. I'm going to do it one time and screw it up." And I did. He manifested his own destiny. It's tangible and valuable. Example for quarterbacks who are thinking about changing teams in the future. You never know what the team is going to do with its first-round pick. You never know how different the offense is going to be until you're in it. And you never know how it's going to feel to line up, quote, with a new team, with a new system, in a new home stadium, until it's time to do it. Now, kind of citing that back to Detroit, you never know what a team's going to do with a first-round pick when changing teams. And we've starting to see more and more information, videos come out about when Detroit brought in Jared Goff, and the media said he was just supposed to be a journeyman, a bridge quarterback, and you've seen how excited Brad Holmes was to bring him in here, and how Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell rebuilt Jared Goff into what he is now. So that's just a little bit of insight on Kirk Cousins. I do not care about Joe Burrow burglary at home, the kind of year it was. Sorry, Joe Cool, I don't care about you right now. What I do care about is Aaron Rodgers may be surprised to hear there is no Eeffrey Jepstein client list. The controversial claim that the much-discussed Eeffrey Jepstein client list doesn't exist would not ordinarily overlap with the NFL. Ha! I know, and that's why I'm taking advantage of it. But there's not much about the Steelers quarterback Aaron Doodly-Doo Rodgers that is ordinary. In early 24, he stirred up a firestorm of controversy in the Pat McAfee show by suggesting that late-night host Jimmy Kimmel's name appears on the Jepstein list. We know that. There's a lot of people. We've heard that quote a million times. The broader point is this. Rodgers' in-season habit of appearing every Tuesday on McAfee's show has been more trouble than it's worth. If Rodgers is serious about being fully focused on football during what he's, quote, pretty sure will be his last season, the team's best interests, and his own, would include avoiding a platform in which he gets way too comfortable and says way too many things that will potentially cause way too much criticism and distraction from the task of winning as many football games as possible. It's against our best interest to say that Rodgers is good for business. If he sticks to his midweek and post-game press conferences, the season will be far less interesting. The end of the season is likely to be far more interesting for the Steelers if Rodgers were to commit to making the week-to-week experiences less interesting by avoiding situations in which the smartest guy in the room might say something stupid. There's a lot of, things to be said there. One, the list. They say it doesn't exist. Look, all I'm saying is that at one point Pam Bondi said that the list was on her desk. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And that very powerful people in the world may or may not have been on that list. Things that could potentially have theoretically catastrophic effects on the global economy, on livelihood of day-to-day people. And I hate to say it, but I think that ultimately the decision was made on the grander scheme of they let evil win here. That's just my opinion. But Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys that he's pretty controversial. I don't like him. I don't. I think he's an asshole. All right, takes one to know one. But I do think he was right about the Eeffrey Jepstein list. Last story that I wanted to poke around here in the rumor mill, which will tie into the next story here, and that is the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins need a corner. Yes, they brought in Minkah Fitzpatrick, but in doing so, they had to ship off what could be a worthless Jalen Ramsey. Maybe the Dolphins know something about Jalen Ramsey that we don't know. Maybe he has, in fact, hit that wall. But the point being that the Miami Dolphins, as well as the Minnesota Vikings, they don't really have any corners. So what you going to do? You're going to look at the free agents available, and the name that we have talked about quite regularly here in Detroit is someone that we kind of would like, hey, say somebody goes down in camp. Knock on wood if you're with me. Who would be a name of the pop? Well, Asante Samuel Jr. is a guy who has all pro caliber talent if he can stay healthy. And the Dolphins have interest in Asante Samuel Jr., but his dad, Asante Samuel Sr., says they have, quote, no leadership. In May, the Miami Dolphins were showing interest in free agent quarterback Asante Samuel Jr. They may have even more need for him now that they've traded Jalen Ramsey, but recent comments from Samuel's father would suggest that there will be no signing. Former All-Pro cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. blasted the Dolphins on his podcast, saying that trading Ramsey was a poor reflection on the team's leadership. Quote, the Dolphins had no reason to trade Jalen Ramsey other than they're sensitive. There's no leadership in the Dolphins organization. Mike McDaniel is a pushover. Chris Grier, the GM, he has no backbone. These guys over here, the Miami Dolphins, they are running this team like a little league team. No one can stand up to the players. They're terrified of their own players, and they have no control over their players. End quote. Now, that is a pretty strong statement. And honestly, when you look at kind of how they've handled things, yeah, I think he's right. And the example that I'm going to cite is one man and one man only. The Miami Dolphins should have shut Tua down, but they didn't. The moment that the brass and Mike McDaniel let Tua Tagovailoa, now, I am all for guys. Look, everybody has free agency over their own bodies. Everybody has free will. But the Dolphins did have the option to put him on IR. That is something they could have done. And when the Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniel, who I'm a big fan of, I think Mike McDaniel is a fucking hilarious coach. I think he's really funny to watch in interviews. I think he's a great offensive-minded coach. When Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier let Tua dictate to them how this season was going to go, the dam had been broken. The team then players were able to do whatever they wanted. Tyreek Hill has been wiling out, right? There's been a lot of nonsense and tomfoolery surrounding the Miami Dolphins for a while now, which, if they continue to not be a contender, I was kind of thinking maybe Mike McDaniel last year was going to lose his job. I had kind of hoped and speculated, actually, that when we kind of knew that Small PP, Benedict Arnold, Osama Ben Johnson, the trader in the Windy City, was going to be leaving, I was kind of, a little part of me was hoping that maybe the offensive coordinator office would have Mike McDaniel's name on the old deskaroo there. But that didn't come to fruition, and the Dolphins decided to continue onward with this clown show of a leadership down in Miami. And unfortunately, guys like Asante Samuel Jr., who played many years in the NFL, in a very successful organization, mind you, they have all the ground to stand on to talk about this. Those comments don't necessarily mean Samuel Jr. wouldn't sign with the Dolphins, but they certainly indicate that it's unlikely Samuel Jr. is recovering from neck surgery and only played in 4 games in 2024. And it's unknown whether he has been cleared for full participation in training camp. So, what I pulled up over here to continue to talk about this story, because why not? There isn't much to talk about. Over here at SI.com, father of potential Dolphins quarterback option has harsh words for team. The Dolphins apparently checked on the health of Asante Samuel Jr. as he works back from neck injury, but father doesn't seem to like the direction of the team. Okay, we're not going to read all of this. We are going to just kind of peruse things. We're going to actually, what do you know? Here we go. We can just watch this right here. How do you like this? This is the video, the clip of Asante Samuel Jr. goes off on Miami Dolphins. They're sensitive. They're no leadership. So let's just hear it from the old cat's mouth, if it were.
Dolphins had no reason to trade Jalen Ramsey other than they're sensitive. There's no leadership in the Dolphins organization. Mike McDaniels is a pushover. Chris Greer, the general manager, he has no backbone. These guys over here, the Miami Dolphins, they are running this team like a little league team. No one can stand up to the players. They're terrified of their own players, and they have no control over their players.
And he's right. He's right. Samuel said the duo of McDaniel and Greer have lost control of the team. He believes the players are freelancing and doing what they want instead of listening to management. No one can stand up to the players. They're terrified of their own players. Given those comments from Samuel Jr., from Samuel Sr., the bridge to Samuel Jr. appears to have burned. So the Dolphins could pursue other options, but they've been linked to such as Rasul Douglas or James Bradberry. It's a pretty big step down. Douglas, a former member of the Buffalo Bills, was reportedly looking for big free agent money. He was out of the Dolphins' price range when they last spoke. However, as we approach training camp, a lesser deal might be preferable to no deal. Douglas made 15 starts last season, recording 43 total tackles, 5 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. As for Bradberry, he missed all of last season with a torn Achilles tendon and is 31 years old. His former team, the Philadelphia Eagles, was looking to move him from corner to safety before the injury because he struggled so much on the outside in 2023. None of that. None of torn Achilles, 31 years old, and being at that point in your career where you're having to transition from corner to safety. Although we have seen guys do that and be able to extend their playing career, traditionally they're not coming off of a torn Achilles and not only being coming off of a torn Achilles and being on the wrong side of 30, but being a less than elite player, being on the wrong side of 30, transitioning positions. The Dolphins, if they were to kick the tires on Bradberry, would obviously need to have him come in for a physical so they can see how far along he is in his recovery process. Regardless of who the team brings in, it seems it's incredibly unlikely that Samuel Jr. will be playing in South Florida this coming season, which kind of, that kind of sucks for him because he is a South Florida guy, man. He's from that area, and everybody kind of wants to do the old Aidan Hutchinson thing and play for their hometown team, right? How you guys doing down in the chat? Steelers fans are saying that they might move Ramsey to safety because he's lost a step. Ironic, Brent DeWitt. I was just talking about that. That's crazy, dude. Jalen Ramsey probably, though, should be able to make that transition. As I was saying, anybody outside of elite level has a hard time. Jalen Ramsey has been an elite level corner for longer than an expected amount of time. He's kind of in that Patrick Peterson type realm of just keeps playing and playing and playing. And Jalen Ramsey, I think, should be able to make that transition to safety relatively smoothly. I mean, he's a talented guy, and he's also a very cerebral player. He's seen every single type of offense. Every single type of offense a team could throw at him. And, you pair him up there with Deshaun Elliott, who just signed a new contract, had a relatively productive couple of years in Pittsburgh, and it could be a pretty solid lockdown team. He's also could be there to help mentor and coach up Joey Porter Jr. You know what I'm saying? The Dolphins are looking like a slow-burning dumpster fire, LOL. Dude, I don't even know if they're looking like a slow-burning dumpster fire at this point. They were so hot, dude. They were so hot back when Tua was healthy and Tyreek Hill was running wild, dude. Their offense was hot. Back when they had Andrew Van Ginkel, their defense was pretty solid too, man. They were a team that was, in my opinion, for about a year and a half there, punching with success outside of their weight class. They were kind of an up and up team, and unfortunately, I think they're on the downward slide unless they can completely kind of retool everything, come out looking different. But I don't know, man. Maybe Iffy Melifonwu is the answer for him. All right, guys, before we get into this quick little Asante Turpin story, if you haven't already, would you kindly walk on over to that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, ring that notification bell so you never miss out on any future content. We upload we're live Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with plans to expand 5 days a week. Keep your ear to the ground and listen for the herd of the buffalo, as we will be making that announcement probably next week. Probably next week. We do have a poll. 5 votes so far. So no list, huh? If you know on that one. If you know, Deep State, 40% of the vote. Tied with you is nope, the swamp got to Cash and Dan. And then 20% of you say yes. I believe the machine. So no wrong answers there. Oh, and if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, that'd be the cat's pajamas as well. We did kind of run into a little bit of a situation yesterday. I did warn you guys that I was probably going to be copyrighted on that clip that I shared with you guys from Landman. And oh yeah, I got copyrighted. I didn't get a strike. Okay, I didn't get a copyright strike. But I did get my video completely blocked. And I've had strikes happen, or not strikes, but I've had copyrights happen before. And it'll be like partially blocked in some countries. Typically, it's in the Russian areas. But no, Paramount came down with the old big hammer on me and gave me a completely blocked, goodbye video, which kind of sucks because first of all, it's not like I'm really that big of a channel. 663 subscribers. Woo! Look at me go! I'm really taking viewership away from Paramount. And the other thing that kind of sucks is come on, guys. If you look at the context of it, it was relatable to the topic at hand. I was pausing it regularly to utilize free use. And the other thing is that because I shared that clip, Hat and Boobs was like, hey, we should get a month of that. That show looks good. I want to watch it. So now you're actively gaining paying customers from that. But whatever. It is what it is. This is one of those things that's come on, really? Fucking really, guys? That's why I'm being a little bit more liberal with the cursing today. And I'm probably going to play a trailer that'll get another copyright. This week, I really don't care. We're kind of freewheeling until the start of training camp, guys. I'm not going to lie. Hence the yawning and unprofessionalism. But over here at Yahoo Sports, Asante Turpin's arrest differs from Lions' Jameson Williams in a way that could increase likelihood of suspension. Following the arrest of Dallas Cowboys All-Pro kick returner Asante Turpin, the question in most fans' mind is about his availability for the 2025 NFL season. Will he be suspended or not? With the way the NFL handles its personal conduct policy, much of this is guesswork, but let's try our best here to figure out how big of a deal the whole thing is. First, let's start with the details of what happened. Cavante Turpin's arrest was a couple of misdemeanors. Turpin was in Collins County Jail for 1 day and initially charged with 2 misdemeanors: marijuana possession and unlawful carrying of a weapon. According to Mike Fisher, the combined bond was set at $1,500. According to the Dallas Morning News, Turpin was released Sunday. Turpin was driving 97 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour zone when he was pulled over. The fact is that only misdemeanor helps Turpin's case, but the subject of the NFL's personal conduct policy, at minimum, we know to expect the league to investigate the situation. Jamison Williams' case suggests Cavante Turpin won't be fined, but, ellipses. In the aftermath of the unfortunate news, many have pointed to Detroit Lions wide receiver Waymo Jamison Williams as a recent comparable case. The league investigated Williams after he was briefly detained and put in cuffs during a traffic stop in October 2024. Williams was riding as a passenger and informed police offers that he had a gun under his car. In February, the NFL made the decision to not discipline Williams. However, there are major differences in both cases. Firstly, Williams wasn't charged nor arrested. He was questioned, cuffed in the back of a police car, and later let go. I remember talking about that because it's like, holy shit, bro. They let you were cuffed and in the back of a car. The odds of getting out legally? Astronomical. Astronomical. The biggest question is how different the NFL treats Turpin's case based on there being an arrest and multiple charges involved, as well as speeding. Personal history can also be a factor. Per the league's policy, the Cowboys wide receiver does have multiple domestic violence charges in the past. He was dismissed from TCU in 2018 because of them. So he's a little bit of a violent asshole. And not for nothing, but considering Henry Ruggs has kind of popped back up in the news, I think we do need to make a little bit of an example on the speeding thing. We do need to kind of push that a little bit. Though marijuana possession can still be reviewed since he was charged for it, the league has relaxed disciplinary practices in that area to the point where players are not even suspended for positive tests. That, combined with the fact that the gun charge will be a misdemeanor only, there's a big chance Turpin escapes with no playing time punishment. The educated guess Turpin won't be suspended, but it is far from a guarantee, and that the Williams case isn't truly that comparable given there were no charges involved and no arrest. Yeah, we're comparing apples to, bananas. Regardless, Turpin has to be smarter than this. That doesn't change the bottom line. Turpin has to be smarter than this. You can't be driving 27 miles per hour over the limit while having marijuana and unlawfully carrying a gun. Yeah, he spelled it marijuana. See? Marijuana. For carrying a gun. 1.5 months separate the Cowboys' offseason program from training camp in Oxnard, California. You've got to stay out of trouble. Be smarter. Yes. Hang on, guys. I'm getting a call. Hello? Is this the base department? Ah, yes. I like what you say here. I like this line, actually. Be smarter. Yeah, dude. Just, come on, man. Come on, man. Be smarter than that. You just gotta get your head out of your back orifice there. You know, I mean, this is gonna end up impacting your bag, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna end up impacting your bag. How we doing in the chat, guys? I got a copyright strike when playing Tony Hawk and had their own soundtrack playing during the game like you normally would, like a sane person. They did it over and wow, dude, they really got you on a video game soundtrack. What the fuck, dude? Tyrants, I say. Yeah, dude, Brent, I agree. It's crazy. He sounds like a perfect fit for the Cowgirls. That dude, bro, that's exactly it. Like when I was reading this story, when the story first popped up, actually, Hat and Boobs mentioned it to me. She's like, the kick returner for the Cowboys. I was like, Cavante Turpin? And she's like, yeah, he got arrested. And I was like, fucking sounds about right. The Cowboys, this is Dallas. That's Dallas. That's how Dallas does things. They love these diva dipshit George Pickens asshole wide receivers. That's why, I was during the offseason like, hey, if Jameson Williams doesn't fucking get his head out of his ass and become a mature leader on this team, boy, Dallas is looking like a spot for him to go and fuck his career up. You know what I'm saying? FYI, Quarterback on Netflix premieres today with Goff. Hey, Art Vanderlei. Good morning, my man. How you doing this morning, buddy? So it premieres today, huh? All right. Well, that explains why when I looked up Detroit Lions news, every single headline was about Jared Goff. Good old King Goff. That makes sense. I don't have a Netflix subscription. I'm one of those guys that was like, after the Cuties fiasco, I was like, hell no, I don't want nothing to do with you guys. You guys are disgusting. But probably going to have to pick it up to watch the Christmas game and kind of maybe want to pick it up to watch quarterback with Jared Goff because I don't know if you guys know this, but over here at the Hat and Beard Show, we are Jared Goff truthers. And I'm telling you, he's going to throw for 100,000 yards, 100 touchdowns, and he's going to start 2 games this year, both ways. He's going to start both games against Chicago. He's going to line up outside at cornerback. And he's going to have 3 pick sixes in both games. And I'm going to go even farther. On the 6th and final pick 6, Jared Goff will set an NFL interception return record. He will pick it off in the back of the end zone, tiptoe along the boundary, and return all the way. What is that, 111 yards for a touchdown? That's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. Yes, sir. So we've slowly kind of been working our way through the slop into our Lions segment here. And with training camp still on, we can see it. I can see it. It's right there. It's right there. Training camp's right there. Regular season's so close, guys. It's so close. But we just got to keep slogging away. Aidan Hutchinson reveals lessons learned from Lions leadership. Hutchinson has made significant strides since his rookie season. Detroit, I'm going to read it the way they got this type. Detroit Lions edge. Aidan Hutchinson has had a sterling start to his NFL career. He amassed 28.5 sacks, 199 pressures, and 133 quarterback hurries in 39 career games, quickly becoming one of the league's very best pass rushers. Oh, isn't it awesome? Every time I read stuff about Aidan Hutchinson, about just this, the numbers, the elite numbers he has put up for us here in Detroit, every single time, I just want to write a thank you letter to the dipshits down in Duval for passing on him number 1 overall and letting him slide to the Lions at number 2. Yet, according to the University of Michigan graduate himself, he's far from a finished product. He admittedly might have achieved 35 to 40% of his full potential prior to be taken number 2 overall by the Lions in the 2022 NFL Draft, and nearly 4 years into his pro career, he believes he still hasn't reached his ceiling as a player. That's what I've been saying. You all need to watch out. This year, Aidan Hutchinson is going to play like a man possessed. Quote, if you think of my entire potential, there's still more to go. There's still things I learn. I always believe that about myself, Hutchinson told CBS Sports' Ryan Wilson on the First Pick podcast. Quote, and people like to put that mark on me coming out of the draft of being a high floor, low ceiling player. But I think I've proved that there's a lot more to come with every single year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a year 4 and continuing to grow on my percentages for my achieved potential. He thinks of himself as a robot, and I love it. The former Wolverines defender was off to a dominant start in 2024. Through 6 games, he had generated an NFL best 7.5 sacks, 17 QB hits, and 45 pressures. His season, however, came to a crashing halt in Week 6. That's right, when a fractured tib fib against the Cowboys. Due to the injury, he proceeded to miss the remainder of the Lions' NFC North winning campaign, but still was an NFL leader in pressures and sacks for like 5 weeks after that. It was absolutely insane. After going through extensive rehab process, Hutchinson is confident he already he's ready to go for the 2025 season. Boy, I am struggling to read now. Quote, I'm exactly where I need to be, Pro Bowl pass rusher expressed. Every year I've been able to improve on my own personal physical attributes, along with the mental ones. So I feel like every year I take a step forward. And despite having that rehab this offseason, I feel like I'm in the perfect spot where I need to be going into year 4. That's right, dude. He's viewing every single season like a campaign. And when he gets done with that campaign, he piles up all them XP points and starts distributing them into his attributes, dude. And he does it smartly. He's not just like, I'm just going to keep piling on the spin move. He's like, no, I need to get my awareness through the roof. I need to get my block shedding through the roof, dude. Yes, I absolutely love it. In his time in Detroit, Hutch has had the opportunity to be molded by several first-class leaders, including Lions head coach Motor City Dan Campbell, general manager Big Brain Brad Holmes, and special assistant Chris Spielman. The Michigan native believes they've each played a vital role in shaping the identity of the team and turning the Lions into winners. And that's somebody right there, Chris Spielman. We all talk about Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, but man, Chris Spielman has been very instrumental. He was the first person hired by Sheila Hamp. I feel like Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and Chris Spielman, all those guys, what they focus on in the draft is finding guys who want to compete and they want to get better. And I think that if you look at all of our draft classes and you watch, come on, get off there. And you go on the tape and watch our practices, you watch me, Penne, on that offensive line, it's a battle every single day. And it's really a competition for who wins the day. And that's how it always is. And if you have that, you get constant growth and constant progression on your team. And we find ourselves in a position now to be contending. And that's ultimately where every team wants to be. And that's something that I've said many times. Penei Sewell and Hutch battling it out every day in practice and camp. 2 potential Hall of Fame players spending effectively their entire career going head to head. You wonder why they're so fucking good. Iron sharpens iron. Hutchinson continues to grow as a player every season, and now heading into his 4th NFL campaign, he believes he's much better equipped to handle the mental challenges of the game. Quote, I feel like I've learned so much and grown so much mentally, and it wasn't very easy a lot of the time. And you go through this maturity and evolution throughout your career. And still, I'm only going into year 4, and I know there's still going to be more things to learn, Hutch said. But I think of the first few years, and there's a big play that needs to be made, and when the clock is ticking and somebody needs to make a play, I feel like now more than ever, I embrace that. Whereas I didn't quite embrace it as much as I do now, or I did my rookie year. I didn't really understand it. It's hard. You're a first rounder. People expect the world of you, and you have to grow into the role of being that guy. Now we're here, full force, ready to go. And good on him for noticing that, but honestly, mid-season his rookie campaign, we already knew that he was special. We already knew that he was the guy that was going to be there to make the big play. You know what I'm saying? Like he was going to be the guy that 3rd down, you got to get off the field. You got to get the ball back in your offense's hands. Not only is he going to be the guy to shut the play down, to have the odds of getting a sack, but also statistically he's going to disrupt the pass, which could lead to a turnover. So it's this cascading effect that he has where when Hutch is on the field, the disruption to every level of the offense and the elevation to every level of the defense is black and white noticeable. You know what I'm saying? Black and white noticeable. All right, let's head on over to the chat. See how you guys are doing. Quarterback, yep, premieres on Netflix. Good for Jared Goff. Hell yeah, Jeanette, that's what I'm saying. Put some cheddar on Aidan as comeback player of the year. Art Vanderlei, my dude. I'm going to send some hearts on that one, dude. I've been saying that Hutch is going to be comeback player of the year. And nobody else is as important, as big of a name, and was on such a trajectory last season to then come back and say he's on the exact same pacing and then just continues. And I'm saying Hutch is going to have 40 sacks this year, dude. 40 sacks. Aidan Hutchinson, not only is he going to win Defensive Player of the Year, but when he wins Defensive Player of the Year, he's going to be crowned Comeback Player of the Year. And I think it might come down to Jared Goff and Aidan Hutchinson for NFL MVP. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, he's pretty much a lock. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, guys. I think Hutchinson. I don't want to say it's going to be easy for him, but I think Aidan Hutchinson will have one of the easiest routes to Comeback Player of the Year than we've seen out of a lot of guys. And another thing with the Comeback Player of the Year, personally, I think the NFL should change the name of that award to the Alex Smith Comeback Player of the Year award, because Alex Smith, after sustaining that Joe Theismann leg break at the same yard line, damn near on the same day, I think it was actually on the same day, and then be able to come back and play is fucking insane considering the setbacks that he had. So I think the NFL should change it to the Alex Smith Comeback Player of the Year award. All right, guys, we got a few minutes left, which means that I can play this trailer for you. All right, so I watched this movie. It's a couple months old. Totally slept on. It's from A24, right? Which isn't really that like big of a studio, but they make really good quality content. And I'm also a big Will Poulter fan. I don't know why he's been just like pigeonholed into character actors. I think he's a good enough actor to carry a movie. But there's this movie, and it's called Warfare. And it's based on actual events that happened in Iraq in 2006. And one of the directors of the movie actually was in this conflict. So I just kind of wanted to pull this up and play it for you guys. Give you something to maybe satiate your palate if you're trying to watch something, want something to watch. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and watch the trailer for Warfare here. Hopefully we don't get struck.
How's it going?
Going well.
Okay.
That's that new guy energy.
Oh, he's back. That's the fourth fucking time he's done that.
Just gotta say, literally watching this movie, dude, I was like gripping my nuts. It was like one of the most anxiety-driven films I've ever seen. This movie is like very, very suspenseful.
Is it peeking at probing?
Speaking with serious intent to probe.
Alpha 2, we might have guys starting to move on our position.
Copy, we're getting a buildup of activity here too.
Yeah, I definitely see weapons at this point.
Yeah, we have definite massing.
Redman 08, this is Profane. We're seeing activity converging to your north and south.
This is Frogman 6 Romeo. We need evac at our last known position.
We have severely wounded. Who's severely wounded? It's not you. Is it me? Who is it? No, it's not you. No, it isn't.
Copy, 1, we're in contact 2.
You coming to you or you coming to us?
Stand by. We'll let you know when we're inbound.
Let's move!
Here's the plan.
EA 5 minutes, over.
The scouts are gonna lead us out, and I'm bringing up the rear. Pop smoke.
Smoke out.
We are all coming back.
OP1, they are en route to you.
3 minutes out. 3 minutes. Eyes on me and only me.
Has anyone looked at you?
I'm fucked up.
2 minutes out. 2 minutes.
Where are you guys?
Look for the blood and the smoke.
Multiple bad guys trying to get to our position. Inbound. Inbound. Find cover. 1 minute out. We have enemy on our building and all surrounding buildings.
Roger that, stand by. Going hot.
You gotta get ready, man. This is gonna hurt.
On my count. 1, 2, 3.
Whew. All right. So I am clearly not a vet and never been within even a fucking 100,000 miles of a military conflict. And this shit made me just like, whoa. I couldn't imagine what this movie was like to watch as like an actual combat vet. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just check the odds for Hutch to win defense. 20,000? That can't be right. That cannot be right. Aidan. Son, DMPOY odds. What do we got here, Brent? Yeah, that can't be right, dude. AI is saying that it's between 650 and 700. Yeah, 650 to 700. 20,000. Did you build a parlay, Brent? Did you build a parlay for him to win defensive and comeback? What about MVP? Whoops. There you go. To win MVP, it's 20,000. Yeah. Looks like, yeah, let's say it looks like defense player MVP award is typically awarded. MVP odds to win the MVP are considered to be quite long. Vegas Insider lists him to win with 30,000 odds at Bet360 and 20,000 at DraftKings. So yeah, Brent, looks like you're looking at NFL MVP. Oh, you're good, dude. It's not your stupid phone. It's all good, dude. Totally all good. Because I'm not going to lie, dude, when you seen that, I was like, I'm going to go dump my savings account on Hutch to win Defensive Player of the Year if it's plus 20,000. Shit, dude. I'm going to retire on that. Yeah, so it's MVP. For him to win NFL MVP, at least according to Vegas Insider and the AI, it's 30,000 at Bet365 and 20,000 at DraftKings. What'd you guys think of that trailer? What'd you think of that? Pretty wild, huh? That shit was nuts. That movie was nuts. Now, I could give you a critical drinker breakdown of the movie. You guys want to watch one more video? Also, what did you think about the rumor mill segment? How do you guys feel about that? Drop a 1 in the chat if you liked it. Drop a 2 in the chat if you didn't like the rumor mill segment. How about we just do that? Keep it simple. Keep it easy. And then we'll give it a couple minutes here. Let me know what you guys think. Actually, how about we just do this? We're going to go ahead and end this poll. Boom. We're going to go ahead and throw up a new poll. Want to watch drinkers take on warfare? Yes. No. Boom. We'll leave that up for 3 minutes. Put a new poll up there for 3 minutes. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, dude, for real. If it was plus 20,000 to win Defensive Player of the Year, I'd dump every fucking penny I had in it. I'd be taking out loans. Shit, man. Shit, that'd be wild as hell. This movie's got Will Poulter in it. Warfare cast. Will Poulter, Cosmos Jarvis, which this dude was in Shogun. He was the main character in Shogun, which chef's kiss. Fucking amazing series, dude. Amazing series. And this guy, Joseph Quinn, he's been popping up in a bunch of shit. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the next Human Torch in the new stupid Fantastic Four movie. And he was also the lead male actor in the cash grab shitbox film A Quiet Place Day One. And then Michael Gandolfini's in it as well. So that's cool. But man, I tell you, I really like Will Poulter. I'm a big fan of that guy. I'm a big fan of that dude. I think he's a really good actor and heavily slept on. Hutch got hurt at Michigan and turned into a beast from his hard work, and I think he's going to be a nightmare this year. Sam, I completely agree with you, and that's what I've been saying kind of more or less is that, if you look at what Hutch did in college after coming back from that broken leg, he played like a man possessed. I mean, he was a Heisman finalist. So why can't he be an NFL MVP finalist coming back from a tib-fib in the NFL? You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. So 1 minute. We got one more minute left on the poll. Do you want to watch the drinker's take on Warfare? That's the critical drinker. So far, 75% of you are saying yes. Only one person says no. So we'll leave this up for about another 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds. I don't really want to go too long today, boys. But I tell you, this movie really fucking blew my mind, man. You guys, have any of you seen it? Have any of you guys seen this movie, Warfare? It's on Prime. I mean, you got to pay for it, but it's on Prime. It's really good. It is. I mean, very rarely do movies like actually grip me. But dude, I was on like the edge of my seat from start to finish. This movie just absolutely grabbed me by the balls, dude. It was insane. It was insane. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and watch it then. The people have spoken. 75% of the vote say you want to watch the drinker's take on Warfare. I'm gonna go ahead and end that poll. Appreciate everybody partaking. So let's go ahead and fire it up. This is the Critical Drinker, one of the bigger content creators on YouTube. Excellent mind as far as media, movie is concerned, television. He's actually an author and has produced and directed a couple of smaller budget films. One of the bigger influences in modern day Hollywood, I think, coming out of the internet is the Critical Drinker. So this is his review of Warfare.
Indeed, when a movie can make you physically...
Also, this has no spoilers.
It's a rare thing indeed when a movie can make you physically jump in your seat when some shocking event occurs, or tense up because you're so invested in what's happening on screen, or provoke an actual feeling of unease because you feel like you're right there in the thick of the action. But Warfare, a low-budget A24 movie directed by Alex Garland and former US Navy SEAL Ray Mendoza, is just such a film.
Accurate. Everything he just said there was 100% accurate. I couldn't say it better myself.
I don't think I've ever experienced something quite like Warfare before. I mean, I've seen plenty of harrowing war movies in my time, from the chaos and carnage of Omaha Beach and Saving Private Ryan, to the desperate battle for survival against overwhelming odds in Black Hawk Down, to the madness and betrayals of Platoon. And not to take anything away from those movies, but how can I put this? I was never able to forget that I was watching a movie.
Right. You knew that you were watching a movie from all the things that they do, from the cinematography to the big budget stuff to the music. You know what I'm saying? And Warfare is not that.
They looked and felt cinematic, from the performances to the camera work to the musical scores, and so there was always a certain distance between me and what was happening on screen.
Ironically, I don't know Platoon as well, but Tom Sizemore in both Saving Ryan's Privates and Black Hawk Down.
Warfare breaks down that barrier in a way that few movies ever have, throwing you right into the middle of the action by presenting its events in the kind of matter-of-fact, by-the-numbers style of a real military engagement. No frivolous editing techniques or overwrought dramatic performances, or soundtracks straining for poignant emotion and heart-pounding drama. It's a movie that somehow doesn't even feel like a movie, with none of the safe and reliable conventions of normal war films to fall back on, and the effect is that, well, you kind of feel like you're right there amongst it, which is exactly how it should be. The film is set in Iraq in 2006 and follows...
Let us not forget that we were in Iraq for a long time.
A platoon of US Marines holed up in a house after breaking in during the night. Their mission is to keep a low profile and observe the streets and buildings in the area in support of a larger operation going on elsewhere. And at first, everything seems to be going to plan. There's an almost mundane sense of boredom on that first morning as the team make note of minor events in the area and communicate with their superiors. But as the day wears on, the warning signs begin to mount up. More and more men of fighting age start massing in nearby buildings, weapons and observers are spotted, and it soon becomes obvious that they've been rumbled. Before long, they're under attack and they've taken casualties, forcing them to call in support to evacuate the wounded. And well, this is where the shit really hits the fan. Pretty soon the team are pinned down and fighting for their very lives, many of them heavily wounded, and what follows is a desperate battle for survival as they try to hold off superior enemy forces and call in reinforcements to get them the hell out of there.
it's seriously. Ooh.
But will they be able to persuade their superiors to risk even more men to get them out? And even if they do, can they hope to hold out until they get there? Honestly, I could spend a lot more time talking about the plot, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone, and really, it's not a particularly complex story anyway. The real tension and drama in this film is the moment-to-moment combat, the individual stories of heroism, bravery, sacrifice, and the hundreds of difficult decisions that have to be made in the heat of the moment, usually by guys who are injured, exhausted, and fighting for their lives. It's brilliant stuff that perfectly captures the chaos, the danger, and the constant need for communication that's all part of frontline combat in an urban environment like this. Ray Mendoza, the co-director, actually fought in this fucking battle and apparently worked closely with Garland to get the tactics, pacing, and dialogue as accurate as possible. And it shows. There is no insane Hollywood...
It really does show. It really shines through. It really shines through. It's I can't recommend it enough.
Style melodrama or hero shots in this one, just soldiers doing their best in a very tough situation. And because the film doesn't adhere to any of the conventions of normal war movies, you feel a constant sense of tension because anything could happen to anyone at any moment. Nobody is safe, and even when it seems like things might be looking up, you know that it could all fall apart in a heartbeat. I've never been within 1,000 miles of an actual war, and even I was tensed up watching it. Fuck knows what a film like this must be like for actual combat veterans. There's almost no musical score to speak of. The sound design is entirely based around the kind of booming gun.
There's like literally very little score, which normally music adds to the emotion of a movie, and the omission of this makes it all the more fucking terrifying.
Fire and explosions and frantic radio chatter that you'd actually hear in a situation like that, and the only time it becomes a little more stylized is to show the devastating aftermath of an IED explosion. And wow, is it effective. I actually jumped in my seat at one point where something happened completely without warning or build-up, which I guess was exactly the point.
Yep.
If you're gonna see this one, go see it in IMAX. Trust me, it'll be worth it. The cast all acquit themselves brilliantly. There's no particularly big stars in this one, but plenty of solid, recognizable character actors who all do a great job bringing their characters to life in a way that feels believable and realistic. Joseph Quinn and Will Poulter are both excellent, and Charles Melton especially is superb as a solid as fuck team leader sent in to reinforce the beleaguered platoon. And what's most impressive about Warfare is that it was all done on a tiny budget of just $20 million, and it looks great. Compared
$20 million. They did this film on $20 million.
Compare that to overblown shite like The Electric State that cost $320 million to shart out, or basically any Marvel movie these days, and you begin to realize what can actually be done by a smaller, dedicated team of professionals with a story they want to tell. The film's ending offers no real resolution or closure for the narrative, which I guess was the entire point, and you get the sense that for all the destruction caused and the lives lost, nothing of value was really accomplished by this battle. Both sides retreated to lick their wounds, only to be thrown into the meat grinder again when the next battle rolled around, neither one having gained any real advantage. Almost makes you think about all the people who pointlessly died in the real Iraq War, doesn't it? Either way, Warfare is a superb movie and a strong candidate for my best film of the year so far. Do yourself a favour and go see it and support a film that actually deserves your time and money for a change. Anyway, that's all I've got for today.
Go
away now.
So I'm just gonna say, like, legit, if you do watch this movie, two things. One, if you're a combat vet, it might trigger some shit. Okay, I can totally see where that would probably, it is as far, now I've never been in war, but I can imagine up to a certain degree, and this movie took that imagination to a more realistic level than I have ever seen depicted, at least from what people have told me, right? I got friends who've been blown up, I got friends who've seen combat, I've got friends who all they did was turn wrenches and change bed pants. The ones that have been in the thick of it, this is basically how they fucking describe it, dude. And it's terrifying. The other thing I'm going to go ahead and let y'all in on a little forewarning is if you're one of those guys, kind of like myself, where you hemmed and hawed and found every reason and every excuse not to join the armed service, and maybe you kind of regret it now a little bit, this movie's going to make you feel like you got no dick and balls. It's going to make you feel like a baby back bitch because, oh my God, the shit that these guys used to have to do. Jesus Christ, dude, it is wild. This movie is like I say, ball grippingly intense, dude. It is a awesome movie. So yeah, Brent, Apocalypse Now is one of your oldies and favorite war movies, dude. You're probably gonna like this, bud. You're probably gonna like this movie a lot, my dude. So check it out. Let me know if you guys watch it. Shout out, hit me up in the chat if you guys watch it. Let me know what you think. So we ran a little over today. We did kind of check out this old rumor mill type situation going on. It was interesting. Oh, looks, they've got news stories already up. They've got news stories already up, breaking every minute. So, maybe we'll go fishing down here tomorrow. See how it worked out. What'd you guys think? Did you like the rumor mill stuff? The more manly, the better. At least it's not Hollywood. Yeah, Sam, dude. It is not Hollywood. It is the least Hollywood war movie I've ever seen, dude. It's not to sound like, a Lions fan or whatever, but it's gritty as hell, dude. It's gritty as hell. And also to, dabble a little Hollywood on there, the casting in this movie was fucking phenomenal, dude. Seriously. Will Poulter, Cosmo Jarvis, highly underrated actors in their own right. Both of these two guys, grossly underrated. Joseph Quinn, I'm telling you, you're going to see a lot more of that guy. He is going to pop up a shitload now. He's probably going to start getting a little bit more of the Marvel treatment, but he's a really good actor. The things that I've seen him in, dude, the two things I've seen him in just this weekend, I really enjoyed him. Charles Melton, not getting the recognition that he deserves. I'm not going to say he carried the movie, but when he shows up, it's like, damn, this dude can act his balls off and does a great job. All these guys encapsulate or capture their the characters that they're playing, or the people that they're playing. They do a great job of it. Strongly recommend it. And the nice thing is, it's an hour and 35-minute long film. It's a no fat on the movie. Moves right along. The pacing, I will admit, the pacing starts off slow, but it's deliberately paced. It's done for a reason. So just enjoy it. Strongly recommend it. We talked about Asante Samuel Jr. and his dad talking about how the Miami Dolphins are a dumpster fire of an organization. Cavante Turpin getting into trouble. They tried to compare apples to bananas with Jameson Williams' trouble that he got into last season. Not likely the same. So Cavante Turpin and the Dallas Cowboys kind of just as is the kind of the status quo for them now. They're just waiting to see what happens to a player during the offseason if they're going to be suspended. Then we talked about old Aidan Hutchinson and how his evolution from coming to Detroit, how he's continued to grow, and puts a lot of that on the leadership of the organization, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, and Chris Spielman. So you'd love to see that. We did kind of look at Aidan Hutchinson. Odds to win NFL MVPs between 30 and 20,000. And odds to win Defensive Player of the Year right now is between 650 and 700. So something to take a look at if you're into the gambling side of things. Today's been a good day, boys and girls. We had a pretty productive show. You guys were engaging in 2 different polls. I really appreciate that. We topped out at one point. I think we had about 10 viewers in here, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So, well, that's going to be it for today, boys. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been attentive audience. Make sure to keep that notification bell ring so that you can be notified when we go live tomorrow, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or between 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here at youtube.com/Hat and Beard Show. Like the video if you haven't already. Share this video around with all your friends. I really appreciate you guys helping us grow. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. That's what we love about you. Until tomorrow, bonga bonga.